Yeehaw. Back again. Welcome to Come On You Sports TV. It's been a while, but hey, listen, so much has gone on in the background. We won't go into the details. We're back, but back at the end of a tough season. It's been one of those seasons that I've never experienced in my lifetime. Okay, I was too young when the last time Spurs went down, so I really can't tell you a lot about that period. But all I know is that this season three just went by and we just managed to scrape by the skin of our teeth. We're doing this live broadcast for a variety of reasons, but hey, it's so unconventional. Chuma, how are you feeling?
All right, I'm super good. I'm blessed. I'm highly favored. I am very thankful, but not surprised that we stayed up. Some of us kept the faith. This period has exposed quite a few very negative Spurs fans who thought the worst, and I don't know. I think um, this season has taught me a lot of lessons, even in life, because there's this saying that everything works out for your highest good, even the things you perceive as being bad. Because you've known for a long time that I'm a huge Roberto De Zerbi fan. Like I'm a fanatic De Zerbi fan, and I always thought Spurs was a natural progression for him. After Brighton, I thought Spurs would get him. And somewhere, somehow, he moved to Marseille and all that. And I said, wow, this is a natural Spurs manager here. And through a series of unfortunate events and results, we landed my guy. And not only do we land my guy does the work. He was actually what Spurs needed at that time. And it's hard to say. And I think everything worked out perfectly because Frank was completely, he was gone. 7 wins in 27. He completely wrecked us. And then Igor Tudor arrives. And I like Igor Tudor. I'm okay with Igor Tudor. And I said there was something that happened when Igor Tudor came. And a lot of fans might dismiss this, but Igor Tudor helped us get ready for the Derby. He raised the fitness levels. He tried to impress on them a certain kind of press. And then the Zerbi comes in, and the two clowns at the top, Langer and Vinay. For all the mistakes those two gentlemen have made, they locked their way into paying a huge price, by the way, to get Roberto De Zerbi. But I think that was the master stroke. Was we don't need an interim, we need a main manager. And this guy came in, and he's everything. You know that advert that says everything it says on the tin. He's everything it says on the tin. And this guy got us through. And now season 3 is done. We're now back to season 1 again
All
with a
right,
new
so
protagonist.
I hear you, and I mean, like I'm the eternal optimist. I never ever for 1 minute doubted I will stay up. That I mean, I kept saying that to like you. I mean, to everyone around me. I mean, I have a very close family. Um, well, my cousin, who's an ardent, guy down the road. He's one of those people down the road. We don't want to be on the program, but
But
hey,
we have them all.
yeah, exactly. So, and he's a retired medic, and we call him Doc, and Doc says to me, he has this snide remark that he passes like he's some sort of Spurs sympathizer because he went off not if when he went off the other way, I went off the other way, when we were kids, and he's kind of saying that, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry for you guys, we're neighbors, we don't want to see you go down, da 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 da. The sort of fog tongue sort of comments that you get from them, telling you how much we're brothers and all that stuff. But I know it's hogwash, but hey. But I just took it in my stride. I said, look, I thank you for your concern in quotes, but we're not going anywhere. We're here to stay. I mean, it's a bit of a, how do I put it now, unfortunate set of events. And so my question is, how do we even get there in the first place? I know people are talking about this in so many, podcasts, and they've done so much, how do I put it now? analysis. It's almost become analysis paralysis as to how we got there. I mean, you have all sorts of theories. Oh, it was Levi, it was his buying policies, it was the board, they didn't spend money, they've got the wrong players, injuries, all sorts of reasons that and I mean, of course, at the end of the day, someone's got to take responsibility for whatever position we find ourselves in. And I think okay, maybe we had a series of unfortunate events. With the benefit of hindsight, I never thought we should have sacked Mr. Ange, but that's another story entirely. I mean, people are going to come back to you and say, you want Ange back? You're crazy, but hey, whether we like it or not, we didn't build on the legacy he left behind for us, which was to win a cup, and when you have a winner's mentality and somebody comes in and telling you that you're not that good, or your neighbors are better than you and stuff like that, you think to yourself, how do you infuse that, self-belief into a team that just won, despite all the odds, just won a trophy, and they come back and, things just go downhill. What do you think is the reason behind it? I mean, I have no theory.
Well,
perhaps you might have a better theory than me.
My theory is the same thing that I've said for over a decade now, literally a decade plus now, which is Spurs have always had a succession problem. And what I mean by that is we follow up forward-thinking or attacking managers with pragmatic ones. Because Spurs' leadership or ownership can't make up their mind to what they want to be. Do they want to be a continental attacking side, or do they want to be pragmatic and win? And for whatever reason, our culture and an identity at Spurs, it lends more to being front foot and attacking, as opposed to being pragmatic and win. We don't have that pragmatic and win DNA, so to speak. And Ange Postecoglou was not a problem. The real issue was, for me with Ange, was, like I said, you're not playing that one way all the time. It doesn't work with the players you have. We're seeing Hansi Flick and we're seeing Vincent Kompany, and no disrespect to them. I'm not trying to say that Ange is on their level or whatever, but that's Ange's football that we're watching those guys use to dominate La Liga and Bundesliga, because they have the players. Spurs did not have those players. Spurs were not going to buy those players, as he has revealed in all his podcast interviews. We were never going to buy it. So the real problem was either your coach adapts his methods or you buy the players. Spurs weren't buying the players for him, as he's revealed. So he had to adapt, and he refused to. That led, in my opinion, to his downfall. With the injuries, he could have still compromised in the way he shaped up the team. He didn't. He didn't want to compromise, and he didn't also want to risk his best players because he wanted to win a trophy, to change the identity, to also, I think the trophy was supposed to be his leverage to say, listen, I've won a trophy for you. I can now build. Keep me. And they didn't. I thought that was a mistake. My whole problem with it was, okay, you've let him go. The question now was the same problem that faced Daniel Levy and the board of ENIC in November 2019 when they let Mauricio Pochettino go. Letting Pochettino go wasn't a problem. They found ways to justify it with results and, of course, his mindset. He was gone. The real issue was, who are you going to replace him with? And they chose Jose Mourinho. Qualified man. But Mourinho and Pochettino chalk and cheese. Complete polar opposites in how they see football. Mourinho is a winner. He does whatever it takes to win. Same thing now, fast forward, Ange Postecoglou goes. This is a man who is an idealist, who believes in free-flowing, attacking football. He doesn't believe in set positions and all that. He just wants to go. Gave us some exciting times. When you replace this guy, because you already have the players who are tuned to that mindset, in my opinion, what you do is you get somebody who can play that football, but in a more structured way, someone who is more adaptable. Instead, the board went the other way. They went with a pragmatist they felt could play attacking football. This is my mindset. Attacking managers can add defensive elements to their game. I found it very challenging to find defensive managers that have added attacking elements to their game. You hardly see it. And Thomas Frank was a pragmatist. He's a guy who goes into games because of club he was at as well, Brentford. He doesn't want to lose. So a win would be great, a draw even better, just so long as he doesn't lose. And that mentality helped him. It forged a counter-attacking identity at Brentford. But when you come to Tottenham, Tottenham's identity isn't that. Tottenham Hotspur isn't built on that. And he tried to do the same thing. And it didn't work because he kept on, in my opinion, I think he was caught up in two minds. He wanted to be himself, but you can't be yourself at Spurs. Because the minute you don't win a game, Spurs fans are like, where's this football? We're not enjoying the football and we're not getting results. If you're going to be pragmatic at Spurs, you better damn sure win games. And when you don't win games, they don't want to hear any stories. And he kept on talking, I'm improving the football. And we're looking at the pitch and we're not seeing an improved football. We're very predictable. We became almost like a long ball kind of side. No problem with a long ball. Make sure you win. We weren't winning games. He won 7 out of 27 games. And every press conference felt like he was gaslighting the fans, like because he kept making references to Ange and finishing 17th and like, I inherited relegation, guys. Do you really think you should be better? And I'm like, that's completely the wrong mentality. And, lo and behold, he departed. We got the interim, who at first, his first press conference, Tudor, he was also bullish that, I can do better. Loses his first game and becomes exactly like Frank in demeanor. And then fast forward again to Roberto De Zerbi, who looked at Spurs players and fans and said, what are you people whining about? We are winners. Stop thinking about losing. I don't care about losing. I'm here to win every game. Which was just a breath of fresh. When you contrast that to, I don't know if you remember Frank's first thing. We are one thing's for certain. We are going to lose games.
Can you imagine,
Can you imagine your manager saying that?
Even if you're going to lose games, is that the first thing you want to say? I mean, come on.
You don't see
everybody knows they're going to lose games.
One thing's for certain, we're going to lose games. I'm like, this other guy comes in and he says, my aim here, my brief is to win every game till the end of the season. And that's how I set out. And my goodness, you saw the difference. And it just goes to show you that if Spurs are going to move on, De Zerbi, we don't know how it's going to work out because everyone's talking about, the fact that he has a passionate guy, emotional, like Conte. My whole thing is he's on £12 million a year. He's never going to see that kind of money anywhere else. In Nigeria, money talks. Yanga can walk, but money talks. So
and
he's not going to see that anywhere. And this is the most reputable club he has ever joined. If you really look at it, Sassuolo, Shakhtar Donetsk, Brighton, Marseille, Spurs is the most elite club he has joined in his life. So he's keen to make a mark. He was someone that he was in talks for not talks, but mentioned in the Real Madrid conversations when he was at Brighton. He was mentioned. All of a sudden, he's not mentioned for all those things because he has not coached an elite club. What he can do with Spurs will create a legacy for him. So that's where we go.
So it's interesting that you mentioned that fact of him, having a point to prove, given that, okay, you might say Marseille compared to Brighton, okay, maybe a touch higher level, in terms of fan base and all that sort of thing, and, sort of maybe some quality of the players that he might be, but I think probably, because Premier League is so wealthy, you might say that, okay, from a money perspective, maybe Brighton might even be richer than Marseille, but you can't afford their history in terms of, heritage of winning and, especially in Europe, Marseille have had some fantastic players in the past. Abedi Pele comes to mind and all that sort of thing, And and of course there's a lot of history in that. But there's this I don't want to call it lingering doubt, but there is a doubt in terms of temperament that people always adduce or allude to when it comes to Mr. De Zerbi. You know, they say that he's very Italian, Latin temperament. You know, and reminds us a little bit of Mr. Conte we had, who, I mean, I wouldn't say that he's had. Well, the truth of the matter is that he's had a lot of what you might call controversy, if you like, or falling out with his clubs. You know, it's almost like everywhere he goes, there's always falling out at the end of it. I mean, it was first was Chelsea. I mean, well, in the recent past was Chelsea, it was us, and then Napoli. You know, next. But I mean, the same thing. Roberto is said to have fallen out with folks at Brighton. I don't know what the truth of the story is in that. And then of course, same thing happened in Marseille. And one of the maybe major reasons we were told we didn't get him first time we tried after I mean Mr. Frank's failure, so if you like, was that he didn't want to sort of go immediately, if you like, because it was too soon. So, well, I guess they went back and tried to get him. So, with that question mark on him or about his character, his temperament, and stuff like that, right? Is that a big risk we're taking in terms of if we're looking for long term? You don't want to think about maybe he's made promises, there's a falling out, and he doesn't get the thing that he's promised, and decides to take a walk on the basis of but it would be very difficult to turn down 12 of them. On account
very difficult. Very difficult. Very
so
difficult.
I guess it's stuck between a rock and a hard place. So, from a risk perspective, where does that leave us as Spurs?
I think he has. I think we're in a unique space with Roberto De Zerbi. And honestly, like a lot of people probably can't see it, but I can, which is he needs us as much as we need him.
Yeah.
Like you alluded to earlier, his reputation has gone through the ringer, so to speak, where you never last more than a year and a half or 2 years. But if you really break down the reasons for his falling, it's rarely with players, it's always with ownership. At Brighton operates on the same model as Brentford, the two former friends, betting guys that have the transfer algorithm. Tony Bloom at Brighton. Tony Bloom's whole thing was, I will keep buying young guys who the algorithm tells me this, or the data. The data analytics tell me, oh, this boy is going to be this. It's like playing football manager, the game in real life with Brighton. And they get it right like 7 out of 10 times. There are players that have emerged that you're like, my God, I never knew who Estupinian was. I never knew who Evan Ferguson was. And then you need a coach that can. So he felt, and this is my opinion as well. Everyone keeps going that, well, Brighton had a great machine, and look at every manager succeeded at Brighton. I thought he was the best of them because while the others have played good football and they won games, this guy's football was like choking and dominating. So yes, you could say it's the same way you could say every Real Madrid manager has won. Taking over Real Madrid, like you've had Zidane, Ancelotti, but there are certain Real Madrid managers you watch their games and they were killing teams. So there's a difference in that. And he of the ones I've met, Hessler, De Zerbi, and Potter, they've all played good football, no doubt. But my goodness, there was something different about De Zerbi's one. And you flip him to Marseille, it's the exact same thing. Marseille, the only other manager they've had in the last 10 years that I would hold with any listen was my guy, Bielsa. He's the closest thing that they've had to how Bielsa killed teams, And so it now becomes this whole thing of he fell out with management because each time they let him down, they interfered, But there was something so interesting about Spurs offering him a 5-year deal. I was like, okay, this is not a 2-year deal, not a 3-year deal, 5. Okay, that's huge. And then now we're looking at this sporting director business, and I don't know if you're aware. Yesterday, talks broke down with Sebastian Kell, the former sporting director at Borussia Dortmund, who was pegged to becoming the new sporting director at Spurs. Probably would have cost Johan Langer his job. Yesterday, the talks completely broke down, and the story coming out is the stumbling block is De Zerbi. The club made promises to De Zerbi that we're going after what you want, not what the sporting director wants. And this guy couldn't come to terms with it. The powers apparently they've given to De Zerbi far outweigh. So De Zerbi is not a head coach; he is our manager. So now, after he saved the club and all that, now they can't go back on what they said to him because this guy saved their bacon. So they pointed it out to Kel, and I think Kel wasn't going for it. And Kel's like, nah, no manager can have so much power over me, or I don't have to run things by him. They said, no, sorry, you have to run things by this guy. So, it makes me quite, enthusiastic about what's to come, and if he stays a year or two, I think what Spurs have learned from this whole debacle with Ange Postecoglou is, okay, fair enough. Now you've gotten De Zerbi. If you've got managers in your mind following him, you now have to look for someone similar. You look at the Brighton boy. You look at now Iraola has joined Liverpool. You remember he was on my list as well. These are the kind of guys you go for that can continue that football or better it. So now we're not going to go from him to Glasner. We're not going to go to a pragmatic, winning kind of guy. We're going to go for someone who plays front foot football and who is. Because to me, I always insisted it's better to attack and try and get something than to sit back. And Thomas Frank has proved my point. Sit back, counter, you lose.
Indeed. I mean, so we're now in a transition phase, if you want to call it that, because from the challenges we faced last season to moving on to what's going to happen in the close season in terms of players. We're seeing that, okay, there seems to be a lot of activity in the transfer market, and it looks like we're closing deals early, But some people still say that, look, we need to sign a marquee player, some sort of, top-notch player, if you want to call it that, to sort of make a statement of intent, about where we're going to be going in the future, and that we should essentially splash a bit more money on one or two players that sort of say to you, yes, Tottenham are serious now. How does that work in terms of the coach's philosophy in terms of how he wants to play, and finding that right profile of player that fits into that mold and still be, in quote, affordable without upsetting the what's the expression called again? The pay structure. That's the word, and contrary to what a lot of people say, I mean, I think a lot of players get paid quite well, But there you go. I mean, what are your views on that?
Well, the first things first, shout out to our good friend Zeus. Deadwood, that word, Deadwood. The Deadwood has been kicked out of the club. It's sad to call Yves Bissouma Deadwood, but hey, here you go. But that's what's happening at the moment. Is
how many people are we going to get rid of in this?
17. I read 17 today. I read 17 players.
So that is a very big number, if you want to call it that, because
it is.
Is this where we do squad? What's that called? Keep, loan,
sell, loan, or keep.
Because
no, but do that, I think it's long overdue. I think certain players should have gone by now.
Yeah, why don't we do that? Let's just do that very quickly, if you don't mind. So, yeah, I mean,
well, with the Spurs gone, okay, let's go. Let's try.
So, goalkeepers, we have Austin. Is that keep, loan, or sell?
I'd sell him.
Okay.
You get to a certain age and you have sell.
Kinski?
Keep.
Keep, okay. Right back, we have Spence.
Jet Spence and Porro, keep both.
Okay. In the middle of the right, we have what's that young man's name? Dragusin.
Sell.
Okay. We have Mr. Romero.
Sell.
Really? That's a surprise.
Yeah.
Okay. We also have Mr. Danso.
Keep.
Okay. We have Voskovic.
I'm kind of torn with him because I'm hearing his agents are pushing that his agents did something that De Zerbi didn't like. They're pressing De Zerbi to tell him
Show him of a certain place.
Yeah, show him off. And you don't do that to De Zerbi. So I think De Zerbi is going to loan him out for another year. I think he's going to be loaned out for another year.
So we should loan him out, okay? Ms. Van der Ven?
Keep.
Oh, keep Van der Ven, okay. All right, then.
De Zerbi likes him. De Zerbi loves him.
Okay. Udoge?
I'm torn with it, but because he's Italian, I'd say keep.
Okay. Who deputizes for him? That's Souza, young Souza.
Souza is interesting. I would say loan him to an English club. Let him just get used to British football. I'll loan him. Now that you got Robertson, I'll loan him.
Yeah, okay, you have Robertson, so that's a new one. So
and Senesi as well, the other left.
Yeah, but Senesi as well. So
but I'll loan Souza out. I'll loan him out. I won't sell him, but I'll loan him.
In the middle of the park, that's where a lot of stuff is going to go on there. So we have Papa Matessa.
Sell.
We have Palhinha. On loan, we have to sort of either try and excite that loan option or still keep.
I don't want to keep him personally, but I wouldn't mind if he stayed. I don't want to keep him, but I wouldn't mind if he stayed. I think he saved Spurs. If you really look at all his goals all season, like there were things that determined our stay in the Premier League. So it's kind of like the Ange thing. You owe him, you know. But if he left, I'm hearing it's a personal situation. I don't know how true it is. He's divorced and his wife is in Portugal with his kids. So he wants to. He wouldn't mind moving back to Portugal because of his children. So in that sense, you let him go.
Okay. We also have Madison.
Keep.
Kulusevski.
Keep.
Gray. 50 Shades of Grey.
I'll keep him. Okay.
Who else do we have there? Bentancur.
Bentancur, definitely. Bentancur is vice captain. Vice captain. Under him. Berval, I'll keep Berval as well.
Who else have we got in that midfield? Gallagher, yeah, he's just new. So, I mean, hey.
He's going to be very interesting. Keep him. Watch out for him. It's going to be quite interesting how he might adapt during preseason. So, yeah, of all of them, I think Sarr and Bissouma. Bissouma is gone. Sarr, in my opinion, will be next.
All right, so who else? Then in the attack, we have Mr. Tell.
You got the white players. Matisse Tell, I would sell.
Okay. You have... What's that young man's name again? Odobe,
I'll keep.
Sri Lanka.
I actually prefer Richie to him, but I think De Zerbi likes Sri Lanka more than Richie, or would rather keep a target man to play.
You want to keep Sri Lanka, right?
Sri Lanka kept, yeah.
Okay, you want to... What about Richarlison?
I think Richarlison is gone. I think he'll go.
Okay. Who else have we got in that attack?
Kudus, keep.
Mohamed Kudus, keep. Okay. Who else?
Kolomani is gone anyway. So
yeah, I see. I was on loan. So if De Zerbi wants
to let's go Mikey Moore, keep.
Mikey Moore, okay, young man, okay. So if De Zerbi wants to get rid of 17 people, you've only identified 4 so far that you can sort of sell. Where did that thing going to come from?
Well, the 17 could also involve like the under 23s that are
Oh, fair enough.
trading with
Okay.
him as well.
Right. Okay.
So certain players they've already let certain players. That young boy Dante Casanova is gone. The young boy called Leo Black. All these guys are all in and around training with the first team a bit. Those ones have all gone. They've all been released.
Oh, they have then Scarlett. You have
So Dane Scarlett as well, I think, is going to get sold. I think Dane Scarlett's going to get sold.
yeah. You have this young Nigerian guy Ajayi, and then Lucius.
Demola Ajayi, probably loan. Donley could be a sell. I'm hearing Divine is a sell. I'm hearing it's a sell.
So maybe those are
It
the.
really broke me. It really broke my heart to hear it. But I heard it's a full out. Yeah, just get rid of it. Like they're getting rid of Divine, and it will come back. I think it will come back to haunt Spurs. I wish him all the best. Lancashire is going to get an opportunity.
Oh, Lancashire, that's
I hear Ashley Phillips is sold as well. The defender at Stoke is going to get sold. I'm hearing that Ashley Phillips is sell. Who else is on loan? Tyrese Hall as well, probably sell as well. You know, so quite a
that
few
young
of the
man who was pulling down trees in the under 21s. Very good. That was Williams Barnett.
Williams Barnett, I think, will get a loan to a championship side. I think he'll get a loan to a championship
I
side.
think it's really good. I like him. I like him a lot. You know. Yeah. So that probably concludes what De Zerbi would do. So for us going into next season, I mean, we've started obviously buying players. We've got Tennessee, you've got Robertson. There's word about Van Hecke, whether or not that's going to happen. I think it's a matter of time. It will happen, you know. Probably agree something, and yeah, we'll move on. Question is the other acquisitions that are going to go ahead with this. So there's this view that if you get, like I was saying earlier on about a big name player, right, and us splashing out, I don't know, 120 million, 100 million on a player.
Elliot Anderson, British tax.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen. There's this. Someone said go and splash out 100 million on Watson. You know, I'm thinking to myself, I don't think Watson is a 100 million player. You know, I know it's just good stuff, but 100 million, come on, you know.
I can give you like 3 players in Europe that play like Wharton, and their cost will cost half of that. My thing is what I've on X. I've been going back and forth with different guys, and you know some of them are of the opinion. No disrespect to them, they are young, young guys. They are all addicted to this. Buy this guy, buy this guy, buy this name. But we've been stung so many times in the last couple of years. Ndombele comes to mind, where you're splashing silly money, and the player comes and doesn't adapt. I think a lot of the players that Roberto De Zerbi is going for will shock people. They are not going to be names as such. There are a few names here and there that you know, but I think it will be names of players we don't know. I think he's recruiting to fit. And this is why I think it was so, everything working out for your own good is such a brilliant thing, because, Spurs usually go into a season like this with a manager and he has to find out things in preseason. Frank had to find out things in preseason. Ange Postecoglou had to find out things in his first preseason. But here's a guy who is now not only seen the squad he has, he's also seen the training ground. He's also laid the fundamentals of his methods. So now this guy actually can tell you this player can do it, this player can't, this player can do it, this player can't. And then the rest of the guys are so already infused with the methods already that by the time he cranks it up in preseason, it's just going to be, and all you're doing is adding 3 or 4, 5 guys to your main squad, right? And I think Spurs have a step. They are going to step ahead of quite a lot of people, because especially like Liverpool, Chelsea, guys are getting new managers who have to sort out their squad in preseason after a World Cup, by the way. Let's not forget that. We have a World Cup, and it's going to be quite challenging for any club getting a new manager at this moment in time.
True, man. I need to get up and do something. Just carry on.
Yeah. So most of the clubs that are going to be challenging, or Arsenal, of course, champions. Arsenal are ahead of everyone else. But also, Arsenal have to look at themselves and say, what are they going to do? Are they going to stay still or are they going to upgrade position? If they upgrade positions, are they going to go the same route that Liverpool did? That's going to be quite interesting as well. Are they going to go exactly how Liverpool did and spend a lot of money? And sometimes it just upsets the squad balance and everything else. But yeah, with Spurs, I think it's. I think with De Zerbi coming towards the end of the season, seeing what he has in his squad, what he needs to get, implementing certain things, I think I think this is probably going to be one of the best close seasons, start of next seasons we've ever had in our history. And for me, it's just it's I think it's going to be an interesting start to the season. I think it really is, and and I really, really hope that Roberto De Zerbi just continues to work. He's someone that he's addicted to working, and I hope he spots players. One of the things as well has always been a huge thing is youth progression at Spurs. We haven't really had any breakthrough young players come through. And yeah, it would be nice to have someone from the youth team or from the under 23s make their way into the senior side. So yeah, so I really think Spurs. I really think Spurs are going to be. Like, would like to hear from you guys as well. Like, what's your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Spurs going forward under De Zerbi? Was it brilliant that he came at a certain time? Is he going to do better work now that he's had games leading to the end of the season? He's felt the club out now. Now it's a question of going for his targets. Will he be given more power, more autonomy over the transfers than previous managers, which is what it seems like at this moment. Even though it's kind of sketchy, being a Spurs fan and seeing that we're going for the same target that we sort of quote unquote went for under Frank. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Some fans are unhappy that Senesi and Robertson were people that they tried to buy under Frank. So is it a case of De Zerbi wanting them or the club wanting them? And now we're having to do that. There's a huge mix up, but we'll see what Enoch and the Lewis family are going to. I think they're serious. I think that end of season, the hatred towards them when we hurtled into the relegation spot. I don't think that family have ever felt that before. And I think it shocked them into a certain kind of life that heads will roll and things will move. Our wage structure has already moved 200 grand for Conor Gallagher a week. I think that's obliterated now. I think we're going to see more 150, 200s in Spurs. First time in our history. So in terms of marquee players, we would not attract marquee players, but we will be very competitive in wages now.
You forgot to mention Xavi Simon.
Yeah. So I would say keep for now. I don't think long term. I just don't. For whatever reason, I can't see that man as a Spurs player. I can't. I don't know what's blocking. I like him. I've always liked him outside of Spurs. I never wanted him at Spurs, and I thought he was a reactionary buy because of the Eze problem. Once the Eze fiasco, we just needed something to kill that Eze fiasco. We went for Jack because he was supposed to go to Chelsea, and Chelsea turned him down.
Shout out to Mr. Dre.
There are these camps of guys that don't like people. Dre and Xavi Simons, Klaus
and Obi-Wan and Gray.
Yeah, exactly. Obi and Gray is huge. Like, Gray should get out of his club, But yeah, I'm with Dre
for
on
fans
that.
who will be listening, who might just not understand what that's about, because we have this WhatsApp group where
We
a
have a
lot of
WhatsApp
Nigerians
group, right?
are on, and it's Spurs.
So I'm with Dre. I'm with Dre on Javi Simmons. Honestly, everything Dre says about Javi, I'm there. I've always been there. Like, he's a good player, but he just, sometimes how, like, maybe it's just me or maybe it's me and Dre or whatever, but it's like, where people talk about a player and then you watch him and he doesn't do anything for you, but he's good at what he does. There's a young man who plays for Liverpool. I think he's Igbo as well, or his father is Igbo. Rio.
Ngohoma.
And he
No,
plays for
he's I think he's actually Congolese.
Congolese. Okay,
Yes.
my mistake.
Hmm.
But the young guy, everybody shouts about, and I watched that kid, and I'm like Mikey Moore is as good. Mikey Moore is better, in my opinion. And I'm not a Mikey Moore super fan. I'm like, dude, like the noise on the kid. He's played for England, man of the match. I'm like, but whenever I watch him, I just can't see it. And Liverpool fans don't come at me for that. I'm not saying he's not a good player. It's just sometimes the certain English players, there's a lot of noise, and it's like I can't. I just for the life of
I
me, I
know,
can't see
right? I
what
mean, hey,
everyone's
but
talking about.
that's football for you. You're gonna have players or coaches who people rave about, and you don't. Others will look at it and think, what's the noise and hype about on these folks, right? So I know we're coming up to the World Cup, and of course, I mean, we would have. I would say that if across our team. I'm not sure how many people are going. We have Begva, we have Sa, we have what's the word? Van de Ven,
Van de Ven,
um,
Romero,
Spence, Poro, Romero.
Poro.
Second?
No, yeah, I said Romero and Poro.
Yeah, Romero and Poro and Spence. Yes, and then
Bentancur as well.
and then Bentancur. Yeah.
Bentancur.
Palhinha is he in Portuguese squad?
No, he didn't make the squad. He didn't make
Right.
the
Okay.
squad.
So we have 7 players I can I've counted off my hands so far. What else? Kudus couldn't make it because of the injury.
Couldn't make it because if he'd had the surgery, he would have made it.
Yeah, I think so. 7 players in our squad. Simon would have made it as well if he wasn't injured.
Yes, Simon's would have made it too. 100%.
Did Austria qualify?
Not sure. Oh, Robertson as well. If you count him as a Spurs
Oh
player,
yes,
now,
Robertson
he's
as well.
Scotland. He's
And
Scotland.
Senesi is there now.
No. Senesi didn't get picked,
Yeah,
but then
it's
the defender got
someone
injured.
and
Leo
somebody
Baledi,
picked.
Baledi got injured, but then everyone expected Senesi to get called. But instead, the manager went for defensive midfielder that played for West Ham last year,
Oh
Guido
really? Okay,
Rodriguez.
I thought he got called.
And everyone's kind of a lot of Argentine media shocked that he went for a defensive and not a defender, direct replacement. And they're wondering what he's up to. But Senesi would have been it. But Senesi's on holiday in Ibiza. That's where he did the whole shirt thing. It was all in Spain.
Oh, I see.
He didn't even come. He didn't even come down.
He didn't come
Spurs
back.
to
They didn't want
He
to
didn't
put
come
him on
down to
private
wear the
jet for
shirt.
what he did. I'm back, eh? They're still
The guy's on
scrimping.
holiday with his family. He's on holiday with his family. I don't blame him.
I know. It's yeah. So I mean,
Yeah, but the Van Hecke thing is interesting because if we're signing Van Hecke, it means that we're letting Romero and Vuskovic go. That's my opinion.
oh, you don't think it could be squad strengthening because if you have what's that young man's remember what's the other man's name? Dragusin is probably on his way out.
Or Danso.
I don't think Danso's gonna go. I mean,
I think mainly because we're not in Europe. If we're in Europe, that would be 4 competitions, and yes, I would say squad strengthening. But we're not in Europe, and you just need 20 something, 30 guys max in your squad. Barring injury. And I think this injury thing, I think they're really probing it at Spurs because I know you heard so many of the theories about the pitch, and the same thing's happening at Real Madrid as well. All these clubs that have multi-surface pitches that they use for different things, it's been affecting players as well, crucial thing. And then you're going to watch out as well because I've seen the same thing in the American pitches for this World Cup. You're going to get some ACLs. I guarantee there are going to be some injuries in this World Cup. Because those pitches similar to Spurs' one.
We didn't ask for subscribers and folks to subscribe to this. I don't know why. We're just too excited to be back. But hey, listen, if you've been here before and you haven't subscribed, please go there, subscribe. And yeah, so we can give you more of this stuff. And then, of course, if you know anyone you think will be interested in this, please share with them. And we'd love to hear from you as well. We'd love to hear comments on all the stuff we discussed as well today. I know it's very interesting stuff. And some of them may be controversial. You may have a different opinion totally, and you might want to sort of share that with us. That would be very, very, very good. We very much look forward to you being part of this. So yeah, I mean, so we have Come On You Spurs TV. We want to do a bit of World Cup stuff. I mean, the World Cup starting today, actually. Later on today. I know it's very, very odd hours for folks who are in the part of the world that we are in, where we're in England, and because we're in England, and so folks in in Africa, in Europe, and in the Middle East as well, they probably will have very, very different timeline from what's going on in America. So yeah, I mean, but I think by the time we wake up and we'll all have seen the scores and we can sort of comment on it. I'm not sure how much people will be able to follow the live stuff, but hey, we'll do our best to bring you as much as possible and see what's going on, especially as it concerns Spurs. And Nigeria is not playing, okay, and England are playing, yeah. So we'll probably follow England, and we'll come back to you with stuff, and of course how it affects Spurs players as well. So thank you so much for joining us. If you joined us, we very much look forward to talking to you again another time. Yeah, Chuma, any final words? Chuma, any final words from you?
Yeah, just before we go, the New York Knicks are 3-1 up against the San Antonio Spurs. For those who follow basketball, for those who know the history, New York Knicks are like the Tottenham Hotspur of the NBA, in the fact that they've had probably the longest title-winning drought, and we're always compared to them. They always choke at the last minute so. Fingers crossed, if the Knicks win the NBA championship, Spurs are winning the league soon too.
And they're playing against the Spurs of Antonio.
They're playing against the Spurs, but we're not related to those Spurs. So it's not Spursy from us. New York Knicks are the ones that had the Spursy tag for so long. So if they win this, or when they win this rather, mark of faith, when they win this, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club are winning a league title.
We'll come back and talk about that, one of our next topics. I think that's something a lot of people are sort of banging on it. They're thinking that, okay, probably we'll do a Leicester next season, but let's see how it goes.
We'll do no, it's all in the cards. Leicester, same thing, So, looking, if the Knicks can win an NBA championship, Spurs are winning. Either way, we can't lose. If the Spurs come back and upset them, it's Spurs. If Knicks win, it's still Spurs. So, it's a win-win for us.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Chuma. And guys, we'll see you next time. Bless you all. Take care. Bye now.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.